Are we educating pupils for? We're educating them for what? Survival and being able to take care of themselves and to be able to further themselves. Well, how do you prepare them for a career that doesn't exist? Well, you can't prepare them for that career by teaching them the skills, because if it doesn't exist, you don't know what skills they are. So you need to teach them some key concepts where they'll be able to teach themselves the skills required for that job. And that's why teaching the fundamentals of computing is so important.
So this is GRIP. This is one of the intelligent memory units. So we prototyped it like this. So this is called wire wrap. So each one of these wires goes from one pin to another. You plug the chips in this side. There are some chips here, mostly these are currently empty, and then they were all connected together on the back. So there was a lot of work physically involved in building that.
But just wait a minute, could you show it to us again? But did you solve all these connections?
Sure, yeah. So one advantage of this particular way of doing the technology is it's easy to change. You can remove wires and add new ones.
Relatively easy.
Oh, yes. But it's a lot of fun.
Dit is Simon Peyton-Jones, een computerfanaat en onderzoeker bij Microsoft. Hij richtte in 2008 in zijn vrije tijd de non-profit organisatie Computing at School op. Omdat hij zag dat zijn eigen kinderen maar weinig enthousiast werden van computerlessen.
My own children were going to school, and over the dinner table I would ask them what they were doing at school, and particularly in ICT. But I found that I could make no connection between the subject they were studying at school, ICT, and the professional discipline to which I'd devoted my life and thought was just the most interesting thing ever. So, I want to spend my whole life doing it, but the subject that was closest to that at school appeared to have no connection. Whereas in science, say in physics or biology, then what students study at school would have a real connection with what a professional scientist. It would be recognisably the same discipline at a more elementary level. So that disconnect made me feel unhappy, because I felt that they were not getting the excitement in their subject at school that I was getting from my professional life.
The executive chairman of Google, the one and only Eric Schmidt.
Is my mic on? I was flabbergasted to learn that today computer science is not even taught as standard in UK schools. Now, your IT curriculum, by the way, focuses on teaching how to use software, but it doesn't teach people how it's made. This risks throwing away your great computing heritage.
In the middle of 2011, Eric Schmidt gave this famous lecture in which just a few sentences he said, I was flabbergasted to learn that computer science isn't even a standard part of your national curriculum. Which is a bit cheeky of him, because it's not part of the US national curriculum in any way, shape or form. But it's amazing how helpful to the underlying educational argument, how helpful it can be for a prominent and senior person to just put a few sentences in their speech, because it moves the topic from being an educational one to being a political one. So suddenly David Cameron, our Prime Minister, was saying, I think Eric Schmidt is right. We should teach programming to our children.
I was celebrating because I thought it was, like I said, it was great news. It was just free rein for creativity in the computing department. We could do what we wanted to do.
In 2012 werd het oude IT-curriculum definitief afgeschaft en kregen alle Engelse scholen de vrijheid om zelf te experimenteren met nieuwe lesmethodes. Zo ontstond in 1,5 jaar tijd, met nauwelijks inmenging van de overheid, een volledig nieuw computercurriculum, waarin minder nadruk op de techniek kwam te liggen en meer op het spelenderwijs leren van computerlogica.
We had come to focus entirely on technology. That is, the sleek devices, like the one that's in your hand. We can become seduced by technology and how to use it. But in every other subject, we try to teach children subject disciplines. So think about history or English or science or maths. Now, these are less immediately applicable than where is the menu on your iPad or your Surface, right? But they last your whole lifetime.
Are you ready? Who can tell me the name of the program we've been using? Yes.
Scratch.
It is Scratch. Now, if you have a look here at some of the programming. Now, what we're going to do, Traction Man is in his spaceship. We're going to build a bit of an algorithm so that if we press the number 1 key, it will complete the game for us. Would you like that? Yeah. Yes, the children know it all themselves. It's the digital age. you know, they're growing up with it, they're coming into school and knowing it all, but it's so highly important to make sure we are guiding them, to make sure it's constructive, to make sure that they are getting the most benefit out of it. They're getting a deeper understanding rather than it just being technology that they use. Instead of just becoming users, they're actually starting to become creators and delving deeper beneath the surface. There's no specific level. There are some level descriptors. So I would expect a child leaving primary school to be able to make a simple program from designing it themselves, making a simple program, perhaps an educational game, with a number of algorithms in, a number of variables in as well, being able to debug it, check out when there's issues, and be able to evaluate their work as well.
One of the things I love about what I do at the moment, it's trying to find new, exciting ways of teaching computing in ways that are just crazy and leave the kids feeling so buzzed and excited and putting them together in a format that works. That's it? Is that what she did?
Yeah,
Kind of? Right, kind of.
Yeah.
So why is it not exactly?
I think that should be something, because swinging, it could just be like...
There you go.
Get that up.
What is dance? Dance are choreographed moves. So it's about moving our bodies in coordinated sequences. So up, down, etc. I'm not going to demonstrate now, but you know, and that's what choreographers do when they dance or when they choreograph a sequence. They are giving instructions. Then they are giving out. That's an algorithm. If you write it down, it's an algorithm. Teachers are looking for new resources because there was nothing adequate. So now we're looking for exciting things to do in the classroom. And yes, there is now a huge market for new companies and startups.
This is a Raspberry Pi. It's a credit card-sized computer designed to teach young people to program. You just plug in a mouse and a keyboard, connect it to a TV or monitor, and you're ready to go. So whether you want to learn to make games, build robots, or even teach about a parachute, with Raspberry Pi, the sky's the limit.
We made a computer. We made the coolest computer. It felt like you were actually the person who made it. So like, you weren't just playing it, you felt like you actually made it.
Kunnen kinderen spelen en tegelijkertijd echt complexe programmeertalen leren? Ross Target, een 23-jarige programmeur, bedacht Code Kingdoms, waarin kinderen met eenvoudige blokjes hun eigen games bouwen en ondertussen leren JavaScript programmeren. Zijn product wordt nu al op 100 scholen in Engeland met succes getest en wordt vanaf januari gratis aangeboden aan alle scholen.
I can think of a really simple puzzle. Maybe I've got some spikes in the way and I need something to lower them. So I can add a button here that lowers my spikes. It's not going to do that unless I code it though. So when this button is pressed, on press, I can say the spikes, which are now an object in the game. This is taught when you learn Code Kingdoms. And we can say lower. Now when I play the game and test out my code, I can see when I press this button, my spikes go down and I can get up to that ledge now. Again, a really simple puzzle, but it teaches coding. When we started teaching kids how to code, we noticed a real key thing. Kids are really good at computational thinking, but they struggle with syntax. They're the kind of text-based code that you write with. So all those semicolons, all those funny pieces of text, kids really struggle with that. It doesn't make sense. Humans struggle with it. But they really understand the logic of computers. They understand what talks to each other, why it does that. They're digital natives. So we found this really strange because adults are the opposite. Adults don't get how computers work. They don't understand why code does certain behaviours, but they can understand what the syntax is. They know they need to add a semicolon at the end of their code, or these little brackets here. They know that needs to be there, but they don't know what it does. So we find it's a real strange kind of divide between adults and children, and this slider that allows us to go between two states essentially tries to bridge that gap as you age or progress.
By the time children emerge for this, they will have that a sort of underlying confidence
in their knowledge of information and computation. So long as new technology is essentially magic, indistinguishable from magic, then you don't feel in control of it. Right? If you have some elementary knowledge, you may not feel that you could do it yourself, but you feel somewhat better informed to make the choices that lie behind it.
Beste bestuurders van Nederland, ik snap niet waarom wij dit allemaal niet doen. Misschien moeten jullie nog eens goed naar het buitenland kijken.
Wilt u napraten over deze uitzending? Kom dan aanstaande woensdag om 8 uur naar de Tegenlicht Meetup in Pakhuis de Zwijger in Amsterdam. En voor een meetup bij u in de buurt kijkt u op tegenlicht.vpro.nl.
Bloemetjes, bijtjes en we gaan alles samen delen. Daar heeft het niet zoveel mee te maken.
The mesh, the network economy, the waste not want not economy, the opportunity economy.
Wat is er eigenlijk terechtgekomen van de moderne deeleconomie?
Het is een algoritme. Dat is een geheim algoritme dat beheerd wordt door Uber en Airbnb.
Maar ook steeds meer gedragsgegevens. Wat doe je precies op internet? Hoeveel vrienden heb je op Facebook? Wat doe je met die vrienden?
Het begon allemaal zo nobel. Samen zullen we alles delen. Maar samen blijkt vaak keiharde business. Volgende keer de economie van nu in Hoezo samen delen.